Hi, this video is on safety and it has to do with food that we feed children. So one of the foods that we do not feed infants is honey. Honey is something that can cause botulism in infants under 12 months of age. So we just don't ever serve them anything with honey, not even just a flavoring of honey. We try not to do that. After a year, I think their tolerance for that is better and stronger, but anything before that is too dangerous for them. On the topic of foods, the safety concerns are foods that they can choke on. And so things like grapes, hot dogs are foods that we serve, but we make sure that we cut them before we serve them. We don't want them to choke on those items. Grapes happen to be the exact same size of their throat, and we don't want the grape to just sit right in the throat and block it. So we cut them. Usually we cut the grapes long ways. Even in half is fine the other way, but something smaller than the actual size of the grape so that they won't choke. And hot dogs, even with our pre-Ks, we always slice them down the middle. At least, you can do it more if you want to, but at least once so that they're not the exact size of their throat. Okay, that's what we do with those. We don't give children hard candies because that can also lodge in their throat. And on the specific topic of infants, when we're feeding infants, infants need to be held when we feed them with the bottle. We don't prop their bottle, because what they have found is that milk leaks out their mouth and it can leak into their ear, cause ear infections. They can choke on that milk if it's just propped there. It can pull up in their mouth and start working on their tooth and make some tooth decay. So the way to feed a baby is to hold them and give them the bottle while you're holding it so that you can see if they're done drinking, if they want more, if they've had enough. And when you prop a bottle and leave them there, they can't get out of that. So they can't stop the flow of the milk when they've had enough. And so what happens is they just keep drinking and then they can choke. So it's important that we hold the baby. The other bonus to holding the baby when you're feeding them is they get to see you, eye contact. There's some bonding that happens there. And you're singing to them, you're talking to them. So many good things happen when you hold the baby to feed him. So that's something to remember if you work with infants. We don't usually heat up milk in the microwaves. We like to use like a little crock pot and bring the milk up to temperature with the water. Another safety topic that's for maybe older children is screen time. Screen time, everybody knows, is bad, but under 2 years old, we don't even want them watching a screen. We can play music for them, but we don't want them in front of a screen just watching. Older than 2-year-olds, they can look at a screen, but it's better if they're interacting with the screen, like if they're touching things and moving and connecting and counting, they're interacting with it. And so that's a little bit better than just staring at the screen for a long time. So that's how we're very careful with what we do with the screen time, and knowing that children get plenty of screen time anyway in their lives. So there's some sleep safety things to talk about in this topic of safety, and that has to do with infants again, and that's the SIDS concern. That is why we put babies to sleep on their back, because we feel they're not strong enough to move away from blankets or something that might block their airway. That is why now we put babies to sleep in a crib with nothing else in the crib. We don't have blankets in there. We don't have bumper pads. We don't have stuffed animals. We don't have pillows, nothing. If the baby is cold, we have to dress them in a sleeper that zips all the way up and there's no loose parts so that nothing will cover their nose or mouth from breathing. Once they're a few months older, 4 months, maybe something like that, they get stronger neck muscles, then they can move and turn if they need to, if they can't breathe. But before that, they're not strong enough to move their head and they can suffocate themselves. Those are SIDS concerns, sudden infant death syndrome. Those are concerns that we have. And so There's a lot of research done on SIDS. They're getting closer to finding out what really happens, but as of yet, we don't know what causes SIDS. So we do everything we can to avoid that type of issue. So nothing in the cribs, and nothing around their face so that they can breathe right. We put them down on their back. Once they're old enough to be able to turn themselves over, again, that's fine because they're strong enough to do it. But when they can't move themselves, we have to lay them down on their back. Okay, and that is this topic of safety topics. Thank you.